Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ridertown Radio. We are back in the tower once again to talk about things. And I say things because we're not doing Toku this week.
Yeah, this week we're going to try something different, so we are going to be in the Ridertown Radio Comic Corner.
Yep, Biff's still not here, and unfortunately I guess his equipment's still not working or something. I don't know, but since me and Noble happen to be viewers of comic book TV shows and the like, movies and all the other crap, we'll just have some fun, talk about them, and, delve into worlds of superheroes that don't involve bugs or giant robots.
Well, some do. Some do.
True enough. But yeah, so for this week, we are just going to sit here and have a nice little chat about probably the biggest comic book TV force that has existed in quite some time, probably since, I want to say, the Bruce Timm animated universe, the CW's DC TV universe.
Yeah.
Basically, Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. And we're just going to do some general overview chat and all that fun crap. So, yeah. And I guess to kick this off, we'll just start with the beginning of it. Arrow.
Yeah, but first let's just step aside for a second and still be recording and all that. For all of you listening, this will be filled with so much spoilers.
Yes, there will be spoilers abound, so if you are watching these shows, turn this off and come back when you're caught up or whatever, and if you don't care, then cool, stick around, have fun.
Yes, there will be more spoilers than Kamen Rider Drive's helmet. There's an obligatory Toku reference.
Yeah, had to have some somewhere, so yeah. But yeah, so Arrow. Now, let's start with this. How did you end up hearing about this show starting? For me, I think it was either I saw a trailer for it while watching a movie, or just I heard it word of mouth and someone told me about it and said, hey, there's this show called Arrow and it's based on the Green Arrow. You should check it out. And it's like, okay, I'll go take a look.
I think I saw a post about it or something on Facebook, and I was like, ooh.
But yeah, so started it, watching it, and thought, this is really cool. I like this. And yeah, been following it ever since.
Yep, I actually just got the first season on DVD for Christmas this year.
Nice. I need to get my hands on the DVD
Here.
sets.
At least the first two seasons.
I take it you have a problem with season 3.
No, season season 3 is okay. It's just everyone poops on season 3 and 4 because of how bad the writing is. And that's mostly because it feels like the writers are panhandling to the quote-unquote obligatory Tumblr users that like Olicity, because that's a thing.
Yeah, that really wasn't much of a thing in the first couple of seasons, and then it became a thing.
Yep.
Actually, that didn't really cement itself as a thing until, I want to say, the end of season 3.
I want to say, yeah, I think you're right, because
Or,
around that time was when they, like, boned or whatever.
no, when
Or
was
no,
it?
that was when they ran off together, and everyone kept making the joke they were going to see what Barry was doing, and it was showing them driving up and seeing the black hole and driving back.
uh, no, I think, yeah, they really cemented it, like, through season 3, but they kind of started at the end of season 2 with
Yeah.
that little stunt they pulled.
Yep.
But yeah, so season 1, that was definitely a very interesting season, given just the way they're having to work through all of this.
Yeah. And I will say one thing that more or less bugs me about season 3 and season 4, mostly with season 4, it's like, season 1, I spent 5 years on an island.
Yeah,
Okay,
the whole
good,
intro.
that's fine. No, that's fine. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about all the flashbacks.
Oh yeah, all of them
They
was
should
based
have
on the
stopped.
island.
Yes, they should have stopped at whatever season he defeated Slade, and then just say, "Oh, a couple years later, I was rescued." We don't need to keep getting these weird backstories that involve other characters and things that don't become relevant, and some that even bring up bigger plot holes in the show.
Oh yeah, like like a whole thing with season 3 and like the backstory with him in Hong Kong and then with Waller and all that crap.
Or the thing right now with that weird idol thing.
Oh yeah, with the idol and all that nonsense. Although,
But no, you know why that's a plot hole, right?
because isn't that the same idol that Dark has right now?
Yeah, that's the same idol, but that's not the reason it's a plot hole.
All right.
It's a plot hole thanks to Legends of Tomorrow, where Damien Dark is in Soviet Russia, but the idol is still technically on the island.
Hmm.
That's why it's a plot hole.
Well, maybe he goes to get it afterwards. I don't know.
Maybe, but it's like
Yeah, that was kind of
Soviet
interesting.
Russia and the time he was on the island. That's a really long time for you to stay that same age.
That is true, but then again,
Who knows? Maybe he had some other idol thing, or maybe he's working for Vandal Savage, and that's how they're going to find a way to cross over all three shows together.
who knows, honestly? I have no idea. Legends of Tomorrow is definitely a very interesting program of its own right, just with the way it's built, but
Well, I mean, they can have endless cameos from just about every single character.
that is true, yes. But yeah, going back to Arrow, it's like season 1 I could see definitely had a few weird hiccups here and there, but
Hmm.
overall definitely a good season, just establishing everything. I mean, you get to see Oliver doing his thing, and then you have the introduction of Diggle as his sidekick, more or less.
Yeah,
Then you have Felicity getting pulled into stuff and everything else going on, just him trying to adjust to his new double life and
yeah.
readjusting to society in general.
And then with season 2 introducing Barry for the Flash.
Yeah, season 2 bringing Barry in, and it's like, yep, here's our setup for the Flash. Enjoy. And then on top of that, dealing with an old demon named Slade.
And the other plot, well, not really plot holes, but the other character nods that should have totally been mentioned but never have been of Cyrus Gold, who in the comic book universe dies and becomes Solomon Grundy.
Is
In the
Cyrus in the season 2? I don't
He
remember.
was the reason Barry was in season 2.
Oh, right, that one guy that got like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, isn't Grundy technically more of a Batman thing? I thought Grundy was.
Technically,
Yeah, I thought Grundy was classically a Batman villain more than anybody.
but I think the only reason they do that is because technically Gotham is the only city that, quote unquote, out of all the heroes in the major leaguers in the DC universe, has a swamp in his city.
Yeah, probably. So that's more than likely the reason. And I don't think they've even mentioned Gotham by name in this show.
No, there was a mention in like season 1 or 2 where Oliver says something along the lines of I'm not the first billionaire superhero or something like that.
It's been a long time since I've seen season 1 or 2, so I don't remember him saying that, but I would believe it.
He said something to Diggle along the lines of like I'm not the first billionaire vigilante, which makes me think, is Arrow set in the Nolan verse? Because this was like years before Gotham
That
and
is
all these other shows. So it's
that
like
is true, and I think if I remember correctly, when did Dark Knight Rises come out? That was like 2011, right?
it was around the same. It was a little, yeah, it was around the same time, kind of, sort of.
So yeah, it could have been like right after it or somewhere in the middle of it. Who knows?
Yeah,
But yeah, that is a good point.
it was
Uh,
just like a weird thing to hear, just like more or less out of context. I'm not the only vigilante superhero, and it's like,
And then on top of that,
but
you have his other line in one of the more recent episodes in season 4, where he gives Felicity her code name Overwatch, and he was like, "I would have gone with Oracle, but that was taken." It's like, so Batman is running around somewhere, in theory.
yeah, it's really, really, really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I think more or less now when he's referencing certain things anymore, it's like, oh, this is something they're gonna bring up in the show later on. Like they made a whole Vixen animated episode thing.
All right, and then they actually pulled her in for an episode or two.
Yeah, and he says we had an animated adventure recently.
Yeah, that was funny. I remember that line. It was just like I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think she's supposed to be showing up again later. I
I
want
could
to be in
believe
the
it.
I think in The Flash, though.
I could believe it. I mean, the actress who played her, I thought she did a good job. I mean, I haven't seen any of
Mhm.
the animated Vixen stuff, so I don't know what that's like. But
It's it's literally just one episode, basically just it's split up into a whole bunch of different like 3-minute segments compiled together into one 30-minute episode, basically.
one of those deals.
And it's just both of them trying to talk to her because they think she's a meta-human and blah, 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 blah. Plot points happen. Turns out she's a good guy. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, if you need any help, give us a call or we'll call you kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It was more or less just, hey, this character works really well in cartoons.
Let's give her a
Let's
try in
do that
live action.
first. Yeah, let's give her a little cartoon thing so people can more or less understand what her deal is, and then we'll show her in the live action.
And it worked for the most part. I mean,
Worked
so.
like a charm.
Although it's still have to say my favorite thing for cameo so far has to be John Constantine.
Yes, I love that so much.
That episode was just so brilliant, and then on top of that, the poor guy didn't really get much justice with the channel he got stuck on.
Yeah,
They could
and then not
easily have
only.
put that on CW and it would have survived.
But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is NBC not only dropped the show, but more or less gave all the episodes to another channel called the El Rey Network, where they show a whole bunch of like old dubbed horribly Japanese movies. Like the ones where they say a word and their mouth keeps moving Japanese movies.
Nice. I think that's also where Lucha Underground is aired.
Yeah, and that's also where they have Red versus Blue as well. And it's
Very
like, oh, here's
interesting
Constantine.
choice.
And it's like, oh, Red versus Blue at midnight. Constantine at 4 in the morning.
Sheesh.
And it's like, God, just give it to CW. We need a show on. Move Arrow to Mondays and put Constantine on Wednesdays so it can appear before Supernatural. It would make more sense.
Oh my gosh, that would be such a pairing, just Constantine and Supernatural on the same nights.
It'd be great, two weird Well, I mean, technically they could do Constantine on Mondays because there's whatchamacallit on Fox. There's there's several shows on Fox.
I honestly don't know what's on Fox anymore. The only Fox show I keep up with is Sleepy Hollow, and I think that one just had its season 3 finale.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, Sleepy Hollow.
That one's on like Friday.
Oh, well, no, Monday's Lucifer now, that's right, Lucifer.
Oh yeah,
That's also based on DC Comics.
So they air Lucifer and Gotham on the same block?
Yep.
Huh, interesting.
It's Gotham, then Lucifer, I believe.
Yeah, that's a show we're not likely to talk about. I don't know. Gotham, because I haven't.
I don't follow Gotham because I just don't like the way it's going.
Yeah, I'm way behind, so.
And the only reason I don't like it is because I'm used to the comics and the animated Bruce Timm cartoon, where it's like, oh, all these characters got their powers while Batman was still Batman, not when his balls haven't even dropped yet.
The one thing I've heard about Gotham is that the concept could have worked, but the problem is that they chose the wrong era for it because, yeah, Bruce being a child doesn't work, but if they had done, I think there was a comic series called, like, Gotham PD, where it's basically following the police department around while Batman's doing his own thing. And so, like, they're discussing stuff that Batman's doing while dealing with their own crap. And I feel like if they had done Gotham like that, it could have worked. So, like, you don't ever have to see Batman. You just, like, know he's there or whatever.
If anything, have it where Bruce is, like, a teenager and he's doing his different training things.
But, yeah, like, it's just... Gotham as a concept, like, originally I thought it was kind of cool, but then things just kept getting weirder, and it's like I fell off of it, so...
Yeah, it's like, here's the Riddler, and it's like, okay, he should be a lot younger than that, but okay.
Yeah.
Here's the Penguin.
Yeah, he's a creepy little bastard.
It's like, here's a penguin. Well, maybe
Penguin,
not.
I don't mind so much. Like the
I
idea
don't
of
mind
him.
it. To me, it's more or less like, well, could you knock maybe 5 years off his age? 5, 10 years, and he'd look okay? Because him and Batman are supposed to be like the same age or almost around the same age kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then it's like, here's the Joker, Batman's arch enemy, and he's like in his 20s, and Batman's 8.
Yeah, that's how far behind I am. I knew the Joker
It's
apparently
not
showed up,
literally,
but
it's not actually the Joker, but it's what everyone was assuming was the Joker, and that's the reason I stopped watching. It's
ah,
like, here's this character who everyone thinks is the Joker, and the guy looks like he's in his 30s, but he's playing a kid who's in his 20s.
yeah, that don't work so well.
Yeah, no. And then they made Mr. Freeze have his gun already.
Yeah, that doesn't work either. But
And they didn't even, and as far as I know, they never even mentioned his wife.
hmm.
He's literally just there to fuck shit up and chew bubblegum, and he lost his last stick of gum. That's all I can take from what I've seen when I go to watch Lucifer and I see the little tidbits at the end. It's like, I'm Mr. Freeze. Fuck you.
But yeah, so yeah, Gotham is an example of how not to do a DC show, whereas everything on CW is an example of how to do a DC show
Yeah.
for the most part.
I think the only reason Gotham is, in my opinion, doing bad is because it's trying to focus on making all the characters the villains way before Batman's Batman.
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on introducing the characters as characters in the show.
Yeah, that would definitely bite you in the butt after a while.
Like, the way I would have totally introduced Mr. Freeze, I keep calling him Dr. Freeze. Technically, that should be his name. He is a doctor. He is. Dr. Fate's not a doctor. He's a dude in a helmet. Mr. Freeze is a doctor. Granted, there's a lot of characters who are actually doctors, but that I digress. Like 90% of Batman's villains are doctors.
Well, considering a lot of them build their own crap, it's not surprising.
Well, like, they have doctorates. Doctors.
Ah, fair enough.
But, it would be great if it was like, oh, here's Victor in school learning about, like, cryogenics and all this other stuff about, like, freezing stuff, and, oh, there's a girl in his class he likes, and you find out her name's Nora. And they get together and start dating. I mean, that's basically what they did with the Graysons.
Yeah, that definitely could have. They just could have done more with that show, but we're not supposed to be talking about that. We're supposed to be talking about CW stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so season 2 of Arrow introduced the characters of Deathstroke, and you also have Barry Allen making his appearance to do the startup for the Flash show, and
Brother Blood was supposed to be like the overall villain of the season.
but then it turned out it was actually Slade.
Yeah, but you know what's something I noticed?
Hmm.
Brother Blood's helmet or mask thing,
It looks a lot like the Scarecrow.
and it also looks a lot like Zoom's mask. It has like the things over the mouth.
Oh yeah, that weird thing. That's like so
Yeah,
bizarre.
the most impractical thing in the world, but it kind of makes sense compared to the other Flashes where it's like, I'm running super fast.
And
Man,
bug in my mouth.
I was going to say, yeah, man, I bet there's so many bugs in my face.
So many bugs in my teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's kind of a design flaw, but anyway. And I think this is also the season where we get the return of Sarah, who everyone thought was dead originally.
Yeah, I believe so.
And we find out, oh, nope, she's not dead. She was part of the League of Assassins, and now she's the Black Canary, or the Canary, because they didn't use the actual color.
Yeah, and then later gets retconned out of existence twice.
Yeah. Shot to death and then revived, only to be thrown off to Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, brought back to life just to get shoved off to a better show.
Yeah.
You know it's true.
I know they set up so many superpowered characters, and it's just like, yeah, we can't really keep writing for all of you guys all in one show, so or all in this show where we have someone else as the main focus. So here, have your own program.
But yet they keep throwing more and more and more Easter eggs for other characters.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they're just trying to world build so that's like see how many potential shows they have, because they could keep growing this universe exponentially.
You remember the episode with the bee lady like last week?
Yeah.
Remember those things Felicity used on the wall? Those weird communication things with the giant letter T on them?
Oh yeah, Red Tornado.
No, Mr. Terrific,
Oh.
who everyone is assuming is going to be Curtis, the IT dude or whatever, because that's technically Mr. Terrific 2 in the comic books, and he decides to become Mr. Terrific because his spouse dies, so everyone's assuming that might be a thing that happens. Because he knows who the Arrow is now,
Hmm.
and from what I've seen on Reddit, he eventually also teams up with the Flash.
I could see that. We'll see what.
Like, it shows him running out of the pipeline thing.
Huh.
It's
Interesting. Yeah, I
like
haven't really been keeping up with like anything that they have planned up ahead. I just watch week to week and go by that.
I just watch week to week too. It's just I browse the subreddits and it's like, oh, here's a thing I found. It's like, ooh,
Yeah, no,
ooh.
I don't do that. So.
That's actually why I knew the whole thing about the Black Siren, which technically should be Black Canary because Black Siren was a completely different woman.
But yeah.
Black Siren only existed in the cartoons, damn it.
And I believe this is also the season which heavily focused on Roy Harper.
Yep.
And
Yep, because that was also the season where he turns into the Red Arrow.
I think they didn't really do that until season 3. He starts out as the Arrow, or the Red Arrow, but you see him like wielding a bow and arrow at the end of it during the whole mess with Slade's Mirakuru warriors.
I want to, yeah, I want to say you're right because near the end of that season was when, fuck, I can't think of her name. Thea. When Thea goes and trains with,
yeah, Thea just basically decides to leave and go run off with Malcolm.
Yeah, the man who's been in every single goddamn TV show in the world. John Barrowman, everybody.
Yeah, I know, right? Doctor Who, Torchwood, Arrow, whatever else he's possibly been in. I know he's been in a crap load of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then I want to say...
The dude doesn't age either. Like, holy shit.
He's like Patrick Stewart, but not bald.
Maybe he really is immortal. We just don't know it yet.
Yes.
But, yeah. And then season 3 have the Oliver, Roy, I think. No, Diggle didn't have the mask yet, but he's still running around with them. And then I think, no, Laurel wasn't doing that either. Although
that was like around the time when she started because she was training. Or no, was it season 2 or season 3 when she was going to those boxing lessons with that guy?
I feel like it may have started in season 2, but she didn't take up the mantle of the Canary till after Sarah got offed by Thea at the start of season 3.
Yeah, another really nice fun fact here for people. Almost every single side character or person that's helped the main characters in these shows has either A, become a member of the JSA or is a member of the JSA, the Justice Society of America. Black Canary, Earth 2 Jay Garrick, the Wildcat, the guy who was training Laurel.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse Quick. Who else? Dr. Fate, because his helmet was shown in Constantine.
Yeah.
Spectre, because his actual character was shown in Constantine in one scene for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, Constantine is still a show I need to actually finish watching. I think I like 2 episodes into it, and then I just had an overload of like crap to watch, so I just fell behind.
I forget the name of the episode, but they're dealing with a ghost boy on a highway. That's the episode with the Spectre in it. He's the
Interesting.
cop guy that they're working with.
Ah,
Because there's a
interesting.
scene where the chick touches him, and she essentially Zed. She's basically the equivalent of Cisco, but for Constantine.
Ah, gotcha.
She can see weird shit when she touches people.
I believe, if I remember correctly, season 3 for Arrow is also the first time we get the Arrow Flash crossover episodes.
Yeah, because that would have been season 1 of Flash.
Yeah, which I gotta say, it's an interesting concept to play with. Just
Yeah, and it's going to be even greater when it's hey, let's just have all of our episodes cross over because we have no self-control.
oh gosh, I can't imagine what kind of triple play crossover they could run with Flash, Arrow, and Legends all at once. That's
Well,
just like
I think
insanity.
it has to do with Dark and Savage because they were both in the Soviet Russia episode.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we will find out if it ever comes to pass.
That and and another technically it's not a JSA member, it's Flashpoint good guy, Pied Piper.
Oh yeah,
And,
he was in an
yeah,
episode somewhere, wasn't he?
yeah, he was in the episode with the Dementor thing, the Time Wraith,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
or it's called like a Speed Wraith or something like that. I don't remember the name of it.
I think
I
it was
just
a time wraith.
yeah, or as I like to call it, Black Flash beta testing. Because it has a Flash like cowl thing on it.
yeah, I know. I remember seeing that. It's like, huh, that's an interesting design choice.
Well, that's not foreshadowing, like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to remember what else was the main focus of season 3? Because that's the one where it's like I'm kind of trying to remember who was the main villain for season 3.
Season 3 was Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Roz.
They were trying to get Sarah back because reasons. Well, he was trying. Well, he was more or less trying to get Sarah back because his daughter was like, "I want my girlfriend back." Wah, wah,
Oh yeah, that whole
wah.
nonsense and
And then she gets married to Oliver, which turns into a plot point in season 4.
yeah, I do like how they at least kept continuity. That's like technically we're still married. It's like shut up.
It's like, technically, we're still married, so I'm gonna fight for you. And then pull
Yeah.
the Star Wars.
Yes, yes, indeed. But yeah. Uh, then I
I
think
also like how season.
season 3. I think they also that was when they were upping the ante by like having Roy pretend to be Oliver just to
Yeah, they
get
were
the
doing a
heat
whole bunch.
off
Yeah, yeah,
and all this other stuff. And that's when Lance finally got in on the whole thing
yep,
as well.
yeah. I also like, like that season 4, season 2, and season 1 of the 3 shows, respectively, is when everyone has the dramatic, like, reveal that so and so is this guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, Daggle's evil brother is actually evil. Oh no, Jay Garrick's the Reverse Flash, even though he's or not the Reverse Flash, he's Zoom, even though technically he's not.
Yeah, that
Oh
whole
no,
mess is going to be interesting to see how they explain that one.
they're going to explain it in the very next episode.
Oh, goody. Well, I can't wait for that.
Because literally one of the essentially next time on Flash is his name's Hunter Zolomon. It's like, wow. Not even 2 episodes away, and you're already solving this plot point. And then with Legends of Tomorrow, it's I don't remember his name. The evil version of him, the Boba Fett guy everyone calls Crotus or Crota,
Chrono.
Kronos.
Hmm.
That he turns out to be Mick.
Yeah, that was an interesting plot twist. I was
I
not.
was like,
I didn't
as
see
soon as
that
I
one
saw
coming.
it, I was like, he's got to be one of these guys from the future or something, because he could totally murder all of these motherfuckers. See, considering the fact that he just wastes 2 random people just because they saw the thing, and then just has civil liberties of just murdering everybody. he's got to be in on it somehow.
Yeah, I did not call Mick being Kronos.
I didn't call it until there was the thing where Leonard, quote unquote, froze him.
Yeah.
Then I was like, the Time Masters thawed that son of a bitch, and he's gonna be pissed, and he's probably Kronos.
uh,
Just like everyone who was calling Jay Garrick being the Zoom, and I was like, no, it's Hunter Zolomon, you uncultured swines, but technically, yes, it is Jay Garrick, because they look the same, because that's the continuity they're going with.
Interesting.
Which is the weirdest fucking thing in the world. Because they just turned... They turned two characters that are technically the same character into two separate characters. Zoom and the Reverse Flash in the comics are either one of them doesn't exist at all, and it's just Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash, or Zoom is the Reverse Flash. Neither of them both have existed together. So it's like, is this Eobard Thawne, or is this Professor Zoom? And then Flash is just like, fuck it, we're doing both.
Well, you definitely gotta say they figure out ways to keep you on your toes and
which is
write
why
their own world.
Yeah, which is why Zoom has the black outfit, even though technically he should have the Reverse Flash outfit. Which I guess technically was kind of sort of foreshadowing with the Reverse Flash having all that black on his suit.
Yeah, I suppose so. They do have fun ways of doing that, just like little things here and there.
Yeah, like the Mr. Terrific bombs.
Yeah, and so far with season 4 of Arrow, it's been fairly interesting dealing with someone with superpowers like Dark.
Yeah.
Although I definitely have to say that the biggest teaser in the world of the first episode of the season is just, and here's a grave. It's like, yikes.
Yeah.
I remember it was like things all over the place were saying it's like, oh yeah, Arrow season 4 is gonna be a lot more lighthearted. Insert Oliver and Barry standing over a grave.
I would like to think of the equivalent of, yeah, after Drive, we really want to get into something really more lighthearted. Kamen Rider Ghost.
Where the hero dies in the first episode.
And everything where almost every single Toku actor or somehow Toku related actor passes away.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
And both of the Digimon music composers passed away.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's the bound.
That's kind of weird that they both died in the same year.
Yep, that is very, very bizarre.
That is very odd.
Yeah, and then also in this season of Arrow, we've had the other crossover episode, which basically was the backstory for Legends of Tomorrow, introducing Hawk Girl and Hawkman, who...
Yes, Carter Hall and
Kendra Saunders, I think.
Yeah, Kendra Saunders. Or Prince Khufu and Priestess Shayera.
Yeah, whatever you want to call him.
The second I heard him say Khufu, I had to pause because I was laughing too hard because that is the most ridiculous fucking name in the world. Yep. Every time I hear it, I'm thinking, man, they really hate you.
Well, considering he dies in episode 2 or episode 1 of Legends of Tomorrow, yeah, they don't like him very much.
Yeah, he dies like episode 3 or 4, like episode 2 or 3, and it's like...
Well, that character was completely pointless.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, that's bad, but couldn't you technically go into the future?
Find his next incarnation, and there you go.
Just, pick his ass back up and go at it.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I didn't really like his character anyway. He was kind of dull.
Like, literally, out of all the characters that you could just have blindly going in to die, the two fucking criminals do it the most. And it's like, well, let's see. You're human, you're human, you're human. You're immortal. You're immortal. You're human. Well, you both are technically immortal. You're just a guy with a cold gun, and you're just a guy with a flamethrower. You two, go on in, fight like hell.
Yep. Then again, it's just what they do.
I mean, literally, the only downside they would have to losing the Hawks would be, oh man, we gotta go into the future and pick them up again. Or hell, just go in the past and pick up one of the older ones that already know their shit.
Yeah, that would have been useful too. But yeah, so. And then I guess switching over from Arrows to Flash, we have basically another ragtag team fighting against metahumans with Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, and then Joe the cop and Iris.
Are we talking season 1 or season 2?
Just in general, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
because it's both. It's basically both seasons. It's you got.
Yeah, and then season 1 we have Doctor Wheelchair.
Yeah, season 1 we have Doctor Wheelchair.
And season 2 we have Doctor I No Longer Have Wheelchair.
Oh yes, Tom Cavanaugh's characters. I love that guy. That actor is amazing with the roles he's stuck with.
I mean, hell, he had to play Santa Claus like twice. That's a thing.
I'd believe it.
Because it was on Netflix. I didn't watch it yet because I was like, that's weird. But it's like, that's Wells. And that's also the white dude's brother from Scrubs.
But yeah, Flash definitely is a nice change of pace for television compared to Arrow, because Arrows always seem to be playing in the dark side of things, and Flash, while admittedly it does have its dark points, it definitely has a much more lighthearted feel and feels a lot more like a superhero show than Arrow does.
Yeah, Arrow almost seems like a movie cut up into parts, whereas, more to be honest, The Flash seems more like a Toku show than anything.
Yeah, where it's like,
here's the villain of the day, and then the overarching story of the main villain that he's beating all these other villains to achieve beating that guy.
yeah, basically, it's like,
I mean, hell, he even has a finisher where he throws lightning. He's basically a Kamen Rider. He's got his own clock up.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely will say Flash is a very wonderful change of pace for television-wise in terms of just compared to Arrow.
Yeah. The only other show I could say that's also like that actually involves a Toku actor, ironically. And that's iZombie, but technically that's not part of the ArrowVerse, even though technically it should, because it's also a CWDC show. It's
I knew it was based on comics. I didn't realize it was a DC one.
Technically, Constantine and iZombie are part of Vertigo Comics.
Oh, right. That's like the DC's more adult comic wing.
Yeah, so is Lucifer, so technically all three of those shows could technically possibly be in the same universe in a way.
Yeah, except Lucifer's on the wrong network. But then again, considering what CBS pulled, never mind.
Yeah.
Which we can tap on that in a little bit, but...
Yeah, but,
Flash Season 1, mostly it's just dealing with the fact that Barry's trying to find the guy who killed his mother, who is apparently a speedster.
I will say there's one thing about Season 1 that bugged the fuck out of me.
What would that be?
And something that bugs me still now. When Iris comes up to his office after he finds out that he has speed and all that crap.
Yeah.
Does that little scene where he's moving around really fast and he's like, I'm fast. I can do this. I can do that. He's moving so fast that he's somehow not being seen. And that time is basically moving still. From that point on, he's been getting slower.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There was, like, those little bits in the first episodes where he's, like, moving at super speed, but everything looks like it's just standing still.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so after episode 1, he loses his quote-unquote contact high from being super speed?
Huh. I never thought about that.
Because literally, like,
right.
episode, 1 and 2, he's moving and Iris is just standing there staring, and it's like, shouldn't she be able to see you doing that, considering that she can every other episode after this?
Yeah, it's like, huh, that's interesting. I never thought about that.
And it's the only thing that bugs me. It's like, I need to be faster than Zoom. Well, then lose your powers and get them back again. Apparently, you were fast enough in episode 1, you could have beat him.
uh, yeah, that would do something, all right.
Hmm.
Yeah, season one's just dealing with the reverse flash, which, as it turns out, is under their nose the whole damn time.
Yes, it's Dr. Wheelchair. Huzzah, he's not actually crippled.
Yeah,
And he murders Cisco, which inadvertently turns Cisco into a superhero when Barry decides to fuck up the timeline like he does.
yeah. That's what I will say. I didn't expect Wells to actually be the Reverse Flash, but I know at the end of episode one they do the whole thing where he goes off to his little time vault thing and stands up and it's just like looks at the picture from the future, and I'm just like, okay, you have something going on, but what I don't know. And then it turns out he's actually the villain. It's like, did not see that coming, though I probably should have.
When I first saw it, I was like, okay, he can move really fast, or he can, like, stand and walk around. It's like, okay.
It's like,
And then when he did that thing where he killed the one dude with the vibrate hand thing, I was like, oh. And in my mind, it didn't click, oh, this could totally be the man in yellow. In my mind, it's like, is this Barry from the future trying to keep Barry safe?
yeah,
And
it was a very odd thing. It's like they kept throwing stuff out there, and it's just like, huh.
and then it's like, no, that doesn't make sense. It can't be Barry. He killed someone.
Yeah, and then it turns out he's the bad guy. Although all he wants to do is just go home, apparently.
I mean, if you were from the year where most likely flying cars and all this other super amazing stuff is there, and then you come to the Stone Age where you have to crank your windows down in a car, you'd want to go home too.
Yeah, that is very, very true.
It's like he's living in a home filled with supercomputers, and then he just got sent to a log cabin for the next 500 years.
Yeah. And then, of course, this season also has to deal with the whole Barry has a thing for Iris, but Iris has a fiance, blah, 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 with Eddie until Eddie basically kills himself to stop the Reverse Flash from existing.
Yep. I will say there was one thing I kind of liked about season 1 of The Flash was that it gave him options compared to Oliver. Like, it's like, oh, everyone knows he's going to go get with Iris, but then Felicity showed up. If he got with Felicity, that would have been fine. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, that is probably something else we should mention about Flash and Arrow is that despite the fact that these two share the exact same universe, who gets the crossover episodes more? It's the Flash, because you have more Arrow characters showing up in Flash than you do with the other way around. Because season one of Flash, you have obviously the crossover episode with the Arrow, so you have Ollie, Felicity, and Diggle in Central City, but then there was also the episode prior to that where Felicity stops by in Central. And then you have the other episode with both Ray and Felicity stopping by. And then
Yeah,
at the very end of it, you have Oliver coming back again to say hi once again.
yeah, and then did Joe and Cisco show up in Arrow, or did Laurel show up in Flash? I don't remember.
I think.
I think they showed up in Arrow.
I don't think so. I think they had an episode where.
Or no.
I think it
You're
was
right.
an
You're right.
episode of Flash, but it was like Joe and Cisco were traveling around looking for
Yeah, they went
info
to
on
Central,
Wells.
or they went to Star City. That's right. Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, Star City, and then you had like Lance and I think even Laurel showed up for a few minutes, and that's when Cisco gave her the
Yeah,
Sonic
that's gonna be
screen
super
caller.
sad. Yeah, that's gonna be really depressing soon.
And then
Because
even
literally that episode, he goes, "I love you. I love the Black Canary," and all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, you're gonna get so heartbroken when he's with Oliver. Then it's like, oh, you're gonna be pissed.
and then even in season two, we still have more Arrow cameos. So you have Diggle and his wife showing up with the Sharkman episode, and
Yeah, that was a weird thing with Arrow where they just flat out killed Amanda Waller.
oh yeah, that's true. They did
And
do
they
that.
flat out killed Deadshot. Well, presumably killed Deadshot. Because
Yeah.
he was in an explosion, and as we know from just about every single TV show and movie, you can survive an explosion.
If there ain't no body, he ain't dead.
But it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You just killed Amanda Waller. You don't do that.
You just killed the woman who created Terry McGinnis.
Yeah. You just ruined the chance of there being a Batman Beyond Arrowverse show. You dumb mother. Ironically, did you know that Batman Beyond was created as a cartoon first?
Yeah, I could believe that. I
And
mean,
that the idea of him being Batman's biological son wasn't added until the Justice League cartoons because they needed to give him a proper origin story besides, oh, this random kid's dad died, so he got pissed.
yeah,
And
I
then
can
they
believe
later
that.
retconned it in the comics to where he's just Batman's like adoptive son,
No,
which
I don't
kind of
follow
kicked me
comics,
off.
so.
I only know that because I watched a video like 2 days ago that was about Batman Beyond because I saw it and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, no, I can believe Batman Beyond was a comic idea, or not comic, a cartoon idea first because, hello, Harley Quinn, she was a
Yeah, and
cartoon
it was also
invention, and
because they were sick and tired of essentially rebranding Batman every year.
oh yeah, because they kept changing the name of it all the time. It was like
Yeah,
Batman the
Batman the
Animated.
Animated Series, Batman The Adventures of Batman, The Adventures of Batman and Robin, The
Yeah,
Adventures of Superman, Batman Beyond. Which is why a lot of Batman Beyond's new villains are more or less a reimagining of certain characters.
yeah.
Ink took the place of Clayface. Blight took the place of the Joker, kind of, in a way.
Oh yeah, that was the corporate guy that was running.
Yeah, the skeletal glowy dude.
Yeah,
And then the Joker's gang took the place of the Joker, and the twins took the place of Harley Quinn.
yeah.
And every other Batman villain is supposed to be dead or incarcerated. We don't know. They never tell us.
I think the only one they ever really touched on. Now they touched on two of them was Mr. Freeze and Bane.
Oh, yeah, because Bane's in, like, the hospital on, like, that machine.
Yeah, because he's drugged up so much he can't survive without it or something, so he's in an
Yeah, and then
ICU.
Mr. Freeze turned into the baddest motherfucker in the world.
I think it was like Mr. Freeze. Didn't they like cure him or something, and then
Be-
things kind of went awry again, so he ended up back in the suit and buried himself.
oh, no, it's even worse than that. Because his body was essentially getting so cold to the point that Absolute Zero wasn't cold enough for him. So, evil corporate McFuckface guy
Hmm.
invented, or basically made a new suit for him, or a new human body for him to essentially get transferred into. But he knew that body wouldn't last him long, and it got to the point where basically the body started to decay. So it's just the head in like a fishbowl thing on like a weird spider robot that then goes inside of the suit.
Hmm.
Because in Lego Batman 3, the Batman Beyond DLC, you get that Batman Beyond, that Mr. Freeze.
Huh.
Because if you hold Y, his head pops off and it's the weird spider thingy.
I haven't seen Batman Neon in so long. I forgot they did all that. I just remember I thought at the end was like Terry tried to save him, and it's just like Freeze
He
basically iced
sacrificed
himself out,
himself.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
because I want to say the reason was because Nora was already dead or something like that.
maybe,
Like dead, not frozen dead.
maybe I don't remember. It's been so long,
Yeah. And
but
then
yeah,
they touched up on like Harley Quinn too in like the movie or whatever.
yeah. She was basically the grandma of the or like
Of the twins.
yeah, and they call her Nana Harley.
Yep.
That
Which
was funny.
which is got to be really messed up when you think about it. You had her life nice and stable to the point that she got essentially more or less married again, had a daughter or son. That kid got married and had. Well, I'm just going to go off comics and say she had a daughter, and that daughter grew up and had two daughters of her own. In the comics recently, Black Canary's pregnant with Arrow's child, and Harley Quinn won't fight her because she knows what it's like being pregnant, and you get this really, really, really depressing story about how she was pregnant, but she ran away from the Joker for the 9 months to have the kid. When she came back, the Joker didn't even notice. So her daughter lives with her sister because she knows that the daughter would most likely be killed by the Joker if he found out. And that
And
she knows that she technically isn't fit for being a mother, so she lets her sister take care of it.
and this is why I don't read comics, because they get depressing as hell. Bad enough trying to keep up with Game of Thrones, where everybody is potential death bait, pretty much.
Eh.
And even in Arrow, that seems to be the case, considering how many people get murdered.
And then brought back to life to get murdered again.
Yeah, it's like you lost.
Cause
They
like
lost their mom. They lost
cause,
Tommy. They
yeah,
lost Sarah for a while.
and then we lost, and then she came back and she's like, "Oh, I wasn't dead. I was just with the League of Assassins." Then she died and came back to life, and now she's gone.
And now she's doing her own thing. And then we thought they were gonna kill off Thea, but then nope.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd kill off Thea and Roy come back to reprise Red Arrow,
Yeah. They did
and then
find
have Malcolm be the villain of the show again.
they did find it interesting that they did actually find a way to incorporate that Speedy nickname.
Yeah, saying it was Thea's nickname as a kid.
Yeah, it was her nickname as a kid, and then when she gets the outfits, it's her code name.
Yeah, until Roy gets Arsenal as his nickname, which was only because he had Mirakuru in him.
Yeah, I did find that interesting that they gave Roy Arsenal, and the Red Arrow name never came up. Or no, Thea joked about it, but it's never been used outside of that run
Yeah, he
reference.
always goes, "Guys, I'm the Red Arrow." And
It's
it's
like,
like,
nope,
no.
Oliver told us to call you Speedy, so we're sticking with it. It's like, damn it.
Yeah, granted, Red Arrow is more or less like a thing that happens when Roy moves to like his own city, or Oliver. In some cases, Oliver's dead and he takes over, kind of thing.
I would love to see what Roy's up to outside of like the one episode where he came back, but it's like,
Yeah, outside of that one episode where he came back because he was getting blackmailed by Felicity's dad.
yeah, of all things, that was very interesting. It's like, I know we had the whole episode with Felicity saying her dad left for some reason or another, but being a super criminal hacker type, I would not have called that.
But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that they bring it up several times in the season. It's like, oh man, my dad left, and now I'm going schizophrenic because I got shot, and now I'm paralyzed, and I'm seeing my weird and gothic and oddly hotter than I am now old self. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
And then it's like, oh hey, there's that guy that I think is my dad. Oh, he's a hacker? Oh, he's that hacker.
Yeah, that whole schizophrenia episode with Felicity was weird.
Like, it was weird, and it's like, if you just told Oliver what you're saying, he probably wouldn't think you're weird as fuck. Because he's like, is there anything the matter? No, there's not. And you shut up. And it's like, dude,
Okay.
you are not helping yourself.
Well, to be fair, given what Oliver's been through, I'm sure he's had a few episodes of that himself.
Well, yeah, and like all of season 1, he kept seeing shadow everywhere.
Well, that was like season 2 after she died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of his old love interests, who apparently was also Slade's love interest. It's like,
Which was weird, because technically that was more like a father-daughter kind of thing.
yeah, considering how old Slade was in those episodes.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to introduce Deathstroke, though, I will say that.
The fact that there was already one guy who was technically that, and that was like a thing they kind of sort of teased with the thing with the mask with the arrow through the one eye.
Yeah, that's like the clues have been everywhere. It's like you see it in the flashbacks where Ollie's getting tortured. You see, and then Season 2, out comes this other guy who wears a similar mask that's becomes an ally and all that, and then it turns out, oh, you guys fucked up, so now you're a villain
Yeah.
who killed
Yeah.
Oliver's mother.
Yeah. Right when he was getting ready to tell both of them he was the Arrow.
Yep.
Which would have been really awkward because that was like 2 episodes after he broke into her office and held her at arrow point.
Yeah, that would have been a very awkward conversation.
Wasn't that also the episode where he meets Felicity or something like that?
I think it might have been
Because
because yeah, I
doesn't he
think
get
she.
shot by his mom, and then he ends up in the back of her car, and he's like, "Drive."
Yeah, that might have been it. And he finally reveals to Felicity who he is and all that.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember, I feel like Felicity. That was like halfway through season 1, maybe I want to say. I'm trying to remember when exactly Felicity joined the team because I know in season 1 for most of it, he kept like just coming to her and asking her for this, that, and the other. But
It was like near the end of season 1.
yeah, it might have been.
Because season 2, when they're messing with Slade, she was part of the team.
Yeah. Then of course season 2.
Awkward. Because of that awkward plot point where it's like, oh, I'm gonna take you to my house because I'm gonna pretend I love you so you can stab Slade.
And then turns out he actually meant those words, even though it's pretty sure they built most of the to make it look like he still had a thing for Laurel.
Well, I mean, the character Felicity was literally created for Arrow. So was Diggle. They were recently retconned into the comic book universe.
Basically, they got to Coulson.
Yeah, they got Coulson, they got Harley Quinn, they got Batman Beyond. Beyond did.
Yeah. Well, even then though, wasn't from a lot of season 2, wasn't Ollie and Sarah kind of hanging out and being a thing again or something for a while?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
There's just so much nonsense going on with that show.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you're trying to shoehorn in a million fucking characters at once.
Yeah, and
Which
then of
is
course
why
they had.
Flash does it better, because it's not every single character at the same time. It's, here's this guy, okay, he's gone. Here's this guy, okay, he's gone. Again, with the Justice Society of America thing, Edge played Atom Smasher. He's a member of the Justice Society of America.
Oh yeah, Edge.
For that one episode where he killed himself and then he died.
Yeah, that was interesting seeing Edge in an episode of The Flash of all things.
Well, I mean, he was in Haven.
Yeah, I know. I watched that.
With the worst power in the world.
Yeah. Bullets attract. I am a bullet magnet, quite literally.
Yeah, it's like, even if you're shooting away from me, the bullet's gonna hit me.
And that's why I carry a taser.
Yes, that's why I carry a taser and I wear a bulletproof vest all the time.
Yeah. I watched every episode of that show.
Yeah, I got lost after like season 3 or whatever. It's a good show, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, okay, you blew up the barn, and now she's possessed by one of her older selves?
Her original self.
Ah, okay. It's just like weird.
And then it gets a lot weirder because there's this whole thing where they use a trouble to separate Audrey from her original self. So there's like 2 of them running around, and then the older one gets destroyed, and there's only one of them left.
That's going to end horribly, like it does in everything else where someone makes a copy of themselves.
Yeah, and
like in that most recent episode of The Flash with Trajectory posing as the Flash.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode. And it's also the episode where they gave us the big hints of, oh, hey, maybe Jay's frickin' Zoom.
Yeah.
And then using Cisco's vibe thing.
That scene really depressed me.
Yeah.
No, not that part. Just when Barry walks up with the fucking flashlight and just bashes the case open.
Yep.
Because that's a really nice case. I really like that. I'm sorry. My favorite one of my top 5 DC characters is Jay Garrick. I'm sorry. I love the metal helmet thing. It's cool.
It is kind of funny how, like, when they're in season one, where they're about ready to send Reverse Flash to the future, that helmet just falls out, and
And
everyone
he
looks
just
at us as
goes,
like, "What is?" It's like, "What is that?" And it's like, "That's my cue. It's time to leave." And it's like, "Huh."
now see, now here's the thing though. Is that because he thought that that was going to be Jay Garrick and he thought Jay posed a threat, or was that because he knew Zoom was in Earth 2?
We will never know.
Because at that point, Jay lost his speed. So possibly, because we don't know if that flashback with Jay was actually how it happened. That might have just been Zoom, more or less throwing a warning into the next Earth that he's coming.
We have no idea, and we'll never know.
Of course not.
Yeah, and then of course there's also the other hero of Flash that we haven't really brought up yet, which is Firestorm,
Oh yeah.
aka Caitlyn's fiance and the
Also
old
known
dude thrown together.
yes. Also known as I've been presumed dead in both seasons.
Also known as the Arrow's cousin,
Yeah, in real life, the actors are cousins.
and also the guy who had his own show for a while in the Tomorrow People,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which is also the show where Snart's sister's from. And if you follow Agents of Shield, the character that plays, I think his name's Luke in that show, that's where he's from.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just kind of cool seeing them still doing hero show work.
Well, I mean, most of the villains in the Flash are from Prison Break.
Yeah, that was funny actually. Speaking of that, I saw a lit or video on YouTube. It was like from Watch Mojo. It's like one of their lists. It's like top 10 shows that kind of sucked after season one, and the thumbnail was Snart and Mick. And I was like, and it's like, are you seriously going to say that the Flash sucks? And I was looking at it, it's like, oh, that's Prison Break, some other program I've never seen.
Yeah, it's like
And it's,
in Prison Break we have Captain Cold, Heat Wave, the
it also,
Clock King, and Count Vertigo.
it also just kind of sounds weird,
The
or look.
second Count Vertigo.
It's also just kind of weird, like watching that list, because like seeing the clips from Prison Break of Snart and Mick, and it's like, you guys don't sound right because you're younger. I'm used
Yeah,
to them
they
sounding
basically
older.
never changed characters. They just changed names, and that's it.
Well, I
Well,
think
no,
it's
in
so that they're
Prison,
older because they have like slightly deeper voices or
yeah.
something.
Well, in Prison Break, it was the one. It was, I want to say, quote unquote, Mick was in prison for a crime he didn't commit, so Leonard was trying to break him out. That's not their real names.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what their character names are.
I don't. I think one of them's like Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that a lot of the, if you think about it, the Flash has done one thing that's interesting.
Hmm.
They've given every character that's like a major character of like the group, like Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry, multiple characters that could be love interests.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, with Cisco, yeah.
Robbie, Jay for Caitlin, technically Barry too in a way, or Cisco as well. For Cisco, there's Caitlin.
There was Kendra before she ran off.
Yeah, Kendra. There's Golden Glider, which is the weirdest name in the world.
Yeah, I can't remember what her actual name is.
Lisa Snart.
Oh yeah, it's Lisa. All I know is you're hot.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why you're robbing things, but I don't care.
Yeah, I know she is hot.
Well, no, the reason I'm like I don't know why you're robbing things. Your gun turns things into gold. If you were a dude and it was if you were a guy and everything happened when you touched it, I was gonna call you Midas because that's an actual DC villain.
Oh yeah.
And I only know that because I recently saw it in the Justice League cartoon.
But yeah, that's true. She could just turn crap gold, but you don't really see much of
That's
her.
literally a thing that they bring up.
You don't really see much of her though.
She was really only there for like 2 or 3 episodes, and
Yeah.
the episode where
Her
I
dad
think it was in
apparently.
season 2 before
Yeah.
Legends happened.
Yeah, her dad stuck a bomb in her head, and they had to get it out.
Yeah,
Which is why Snart was unfortunately working with their dad.
Yeah, I will say my favorite scene was when he just murdered his father in cold blood. Literally cold blood.
Yeah, Snart
Crazy.
is a very. I like Snart as a character. He's interesting.
Oh yeah, he's by far my favorite character.
I mean, he's
Which is
got.
why I really hope, because at the end of season one with the Flash, there's that whole scene where he's running back in time to go save his mom.
Oh yeah,
Which, for those of you who don't know, that is the biggest no-no in the Flash's life.
yeah. Isn't that what basically creates Flashpoint?
Yes, that is. That creates Flashpoint. So at the very end of the Flash, I was like, he's gonna do it? Oh, season 2 is gonna be fucking amazing. And then it's like, oh,
Well,
damn. I
he
was
had the
really hoping.
Yeah, well, at least it gave us the gigantic wormhole to Earth 2, all the nonsense breaches, and then, oh yeah, Robbie's character dies, Ronnie. He
Yeah.
goes kaboom, and we end up with
Jefferson Jackson.
Jax. Which I will say, transitioning for Legends of Tomorrow a little bit, I, that was a very interesting thing that they kept hidden the whole time during the original trailer, and
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
because, yeah, when they're talking about Firestorm, it's basically just, crap, what is the professor's name?
Stein.
Yeah,
Martin
it's just
Stein.
Stein talking. He's like, I'm just a college professor. My other half is, so and so, but they don't actually show Ronnie or
Right. Or
standing
Jack.
there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this was before Jax showed up, so you didn't see Ronnie standing there. It's like interesting that he's not there. So what are
I
they
just thought
planning to
about
do?
something that would be a really cool kind of crossover thing.
Hmm.
They go back in time to where Martin and Ronnie are still Firestorm and have two Firestorms teaming up together.
That would be cool, but I have a
Because I mean,
feeling.
technically, all you got to do is bring in the one other actor in and CGI fire all over his body.
Oh yeah, just go grab Robbie and just be like, "Hey, we need you to play Firestorm again." Okay, cool. I'm sure he would do that in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah.
He seems to enjoy playing superheroes.
I kind of think he's on another Earth. Like, he's not on Earth 2. I want to say he's on, like, Earth 3.
Who knows?
That or maybe he's in Supergirl.
Yeah, let's just bring that up real quick. That was a very interesting crossover episode.
That also brings up the number one point in the entire series of The Flash. Why the fuck do you have a mask if you keep taking it off at every single person you meet?
Yeah, Barry doesn't like wearing that mask apparently very much, considering first time he crossed with Arrow after getting his powers, he's like runs out, grabs some sushi, rips his mask off, and Diggle's ex-wife at the time is standing there. It's like, oh, they're together. He would have told her. It's like, no, I didn't. Oh, oops.
I just like the fact
You
that Diggle's just
dumbass.
like, yeah, he's fast, get over it.
No, that
And
was his
that
wife
happened.
did it.
Well, no, first it happened there, and then it happened during the crossover again with King Shark.
Well, no, I think it was like in the crossover originally. It's just like, man, I cannot get over that, and it's just like, still can't get used to that, and it's like in the thing where it's like his wife and him dealing with the king shark. It's like she's like, he's fast, get over it, and then she sees it themselves like, yeah, you're right, can't get used to that. It's like I know, right? I love Diggle. He's so much fun.
One of the things that bugged me about that episode is the fact that because it's a TV show and that it's meant more or less for kids to watch, it kind of also, even though there's a show about a zombie eating brains right after it, but
It's in that prime
in
time hour before the kids get sent to bed because
yeah, but
school.
like in all reality, Barry murdered King Shark with that lightning bolt attack.
You would think.
But because it's a comic book, oh, he's alive. So we're going to go take him to his Earth One's wife to give him some help.
Yeah, well,
It's like, he's dead.
now if you knew if that was an arrow, if they would have tried to blow him up or something. That would have been an explosive
I
arrow.
mean, electrocution is kind of worse.
True enough, but
Because, I mean, it's not like, oh, he knocked him out with like a punch or a kick. No, he straight up electrocutes the motherfucker.
Yeah.
runs around generating lightning and just, I am Zeus, god of thunders his ass. It's great.
Yeah, I picked up a few new tricks from Jay. That
Yeah,
being,
and
I think that's like the major thing. Is just Jay teaches him how to toss lightning.
technically the whole thing where Barry's like, I'm the fastest man alive is true. He's the fastest man alive without augmentation.
Oh yeah, because Zoom basically
Because
was like,
Zoom and Reverse Flash were using sciencey upgrades, and Jay says that Barry was faster than he ever was, which is why he taught Barry how to throw lightning, because he never could.
hmm, interesting. Yeah, I forgot about that line, but
Also, I love the, 2 or 3 episodes of the Flash where Jay's wearing his outfit.
oh yeah, we actually see him in the thing, and it's like I also like the whole thing where it's like mentioning them having the helmet. It's like, oh, that's where that went.
I will say, I don't remember the exact episode. I think it's an early episode from season 2 where they're fighting Sand Demon or whatever his name was.
I don't remember.
The weird sand dude or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name was, but yeah, I know what you're talking
Where,
about.
yeah, when he kidnaps Patty and all that, and she goes help, and you see both of the Flashes run by, and it's like they're recreating a comic book cover. Which they were recreating the comic book cover of Flash of Two Worlds, which introduced the idea of there being multiple universes because
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that episode because I must have not been
it was
paying
more or less
attention.
just it's not like an exact copy, but they're both running and they're running past like a beam. Where in the comic books
It was
that
a brick
beam
wall.
is a brick wall and
Yeah,
there's
I've
like a
seen that cover.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that scene specifically, but it's been a while, and I may have been multitasking, so I might have been looking away when that came up. So I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
back and look at that.
I also noticed that each one of the speedsters speed sound is very different.
Yeah, there's subtle variations here and there.
Like Barry's sounds like a mix of Reverse Flash and Jay's, where it's like a mix of a hum and like the lightning crackle,
Hmm.
and Jay's is just like pure raw electricity crackles, and
Huh.
it's kind of like a hum, or not Zoom. Reverse Flashes is like a hum, and then Zoom's sounds like some basically it sounds like it's saying Zoom, or it sounds like a thunder.
Interesting. I never
But
really noticed that.
it's very, 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 very you have to be really, really, really paying attention.
Yeah, I would never have thought to look for that.
It's like the smallest thing. It's just like he runs in and then he runs out and it's like a zoom, but
Interesting.
it sounds like a thunder boom kind of thing.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's all that going on in Flash, and I'm definitely going to be curious to see how long they're going to take before they finally pull the trigger on Barry and Iris being a thing. Considering there was the newspaper clipping, which from the future, which they both saw, and then on top of that, Barry sees the whole situation going on in Earth 2 when they
Yeah.
travel there. And it's
That was
basically
another thing I thought was great was in Earth 2, Deadshot's a shop is a cop that can't shoot for crap.
yeah, that whole wacky world was pretty fun. And then Iris is the detective, and it's like very handsy with Barry at work and all that. It's like,
And Firestorm is now Deathstorm, Cisco's now Reverb, Caitlyn's Killer Frost, and at least 2 out of 3 of them are dead. I'm guessing all 3 of them are,
probably at this point.
unless Zoom just tortured Caitlyn.
Who knows? We'll find. If she ever comes back, we'll find out. But
Eh, who knows?
yeah. So be interesting to see if the show ever decides to finally pull the trigger on that and just put them together. Because it seems like, despite the fact that they know it's going to eventually happen, they're still kind of skirting around it.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, we also forgot the other big addition for season 2, Wally freaking West.
I was getting ready to mention that, actually, that from what I've seen, again, from people on Reddit, he might be getting his speed soon, maybe.
I would imagine probably is going to be soon, considering he's been going through that whole thing with the car engine project and all that stuff. So
The
I'm
reason I say it is because there's literally like 3 pictures of him being held up by Zoom and him looking around like, what the fuck's going on? And oh my god, Barry's the Flash.
no, I'm pretty much going to assume that if he is going to become Kid Flash or whatever they're going to call him for this, probably it's going to have something to do with that engine he keeps trying to build. It's like something that's going to go awry. It's going to get blasted and turn into
Yeah,
maybe a slightly slower version of the Flash. Because I know, if I remember correctly, I think Wally always was slightly slower than Barry, or at least he was in Young Justice, which is really where I'm pulling that from.
that literally when you said that, that was where my mind was going to.
That's literally the only thing I know of where it's like that. Because there's those scenes where you
Um,
see Barry and him running around, and it's like he's trying to keep up with Barry.
I also want to say Young Justice is the only place where all 4 of the good Flashes exist in the same time.
Oh yeah, because you have Jay, you have Barry, you have
Bart.
Wally, and you have Bart. Yeah, I remember originally when the Flash season 2 promos were coming out, and you saw like Blue Lightning and stuff. It was like, are they going to pull Bart out of the future? It's like, because at the time
No,
I
but they
didn't.
mentioned saying, "Oh man, I'd never name my kid Bartholomew," and it's like, yeah, but you don't. Your grandson does, or your son does.
Uh, but yeah, it's like at the time I had no idea about Zoom or any of that, so I had no idea what was coming.
Neither did I, because Zoom doesn't have blue lightning. The motherfucker's reverse flash in everything he's been in.
Yeah, so that's the fun of these shows. It's like if you're not familiar with comics, you have no idea what's going on, and at the same, and it kind of works for it.
Yeah,
Whereas,
but
like if you're a comic
I
player, you kind of will formulate ideas and things like that.
yeah, but I mean, I didn't even know Zoom was coming because it's like, okay, there's reverse flash, so Zoom's gone. I didn't realize that Zoom was Zoom until he said until Harrison Wells was like it's Zoom, and I'm like, but Reverse Flash is oh, you're doing one of these bullshits, okay.
Oh yeah, that's also an interesting change up for season 2 is the fact that Harrison Wells is in fact the Wells from Earth 2 as opposed to being what he was in season 1.
Which
Uh,
was a dead guy, which was a guy from the future impersonating a dead guy who's impersonating that dead guy being crippled.
yep. Uh,
All because he wants to have one guy get turned into the Flash, so he can then either steal his speed or get thrusted into the future so he can return to his own time.
all I can say is I'm glad they found a way to keep that actor around because Tom Cavanaugh is amazing.
Yes, he is. He's amazing. He is the best.
Yeah, definitely.
But
And I guess at this point, just transition to the other show that's running. At this,
before we do, remember the episode where Wally's doing one of his races
oh yeah, and then Joe
Flash
catches him and
saves him?
stuff. Oh
And
yeah, that was the
with
one
the
where he's
whole
like slightly slower because of
yeah, and the car's like curving up. When I saw the car curving up, I was like, is the car gonna like explode and the NOS gas is gonna like get into him and he's gonna become the Flash or a Flash that way?
that would have been an interesting twist.
Which is why I think, just like with you, it's gonna do something with that engine of his.
Yeah, because they keep bringing it up, and there's no way that they're not going to do something with it if they're going
I
to
feel like it's
purposely
gonna,
bring it
yeah,
up.
I feel like it's gonna do what just about every single character in the Flash universe has happened, and it's gonna backfire horribly, and he's gonna get powers.
Yeah, somehow, some way, that's going to turn him into another speedster.
I mean, it's a lot better than some of the characters that are speedsters. There's one that gets their speed because they recite an equation.
That sounds really stupid.
It's an equation that they wrote down in the Flash as an Easter egg.
That I'm not
It's like
surprised.
3 times 2 something or other, something or other, something or other. And it's what I think Jesse Quick uses to use the Speed Force or some type of bullshit.
That sounds really dumb.
Yeah. But on to another show with an actor from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. It's like Doctor Who alumni love this program. I mean, you have John Barrowman, and then we didn't mention this, but Laurel and Sarah's mother is River Song. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have this show where we basically have an actor from Doctor Who playing the Doctor. Arthur Darvill as Captain
Rip Hunter.
Rip Hunter, yes.
Who is the son of Booster Gold.
At least in the comics he is. Whether or not he is in this version, we don't know.
But you know what's the best part about that, though? In the comics, he goes to... In his life, technically, it's a theoretical past, and helps his dad.
Become Booster Gold or something.
Yeah, and helps his dad. And when his dad's like, "What's your name?" and he goes, "My name's Rip."
Oh, and he creates his own name.
Yes, he named himself.
Because time paradox bull nonsense. But yeah, so we have Legends of Tomorrow, which basically takes all of the extra characters from Arrow and Flash that they couldn't find anything else to do with, and just like, here, let's throw them on a time ship and just have fun with it and see what we can come up with.
It's like, we're going to take everybody's favorite characters from the other shows that are about their own characters, and we're going to give them their own TV show because everyone likes these characters way too much.
And frankly, it works.
And the Hawks.
Yeah. And frankly, it really works. I mean, you got Ray on board, you have Sarah, you've got the two criminals,
Mick got Rory.
Yeah, you got...
you have Mick and Leonard.
Yeah, Mick and Leonard. You have the Firestorm duo. And then you've got Rip and Kendra.
And the Hawks. But then one of them dies, so it's just the Hawk.
Yeah. Just the way the characters...
Yes, and then the Hawk and the Atom go at it for a little bit.
Well, yeah,
in the fun sense, not the fighty sense.
Yes. But yeah, it's just... The way the characters interact with each other is just really fun. It's like... I remember some of the old interviews were saying, like, this will give us a chance to do character dynamics you would never normally get. And it's like, I can definitely see that being a positive side, and it actually works out pretty well. So them bouncing back and forth off each other in various ways.
I will say one of the more interesting things that I've seen from the Legends of Tomorrow fandom is the Sarah and Leonard ship.
Considering their episode where they're sitting in the engine or the cargo bay about to die from being frozen.
But that's the thing that's funny, though, is that in the show, Sarah's technically a lesbian, the way that she's been portrayed.
Or at least very heavily leaning towards girls as opposed...
bisexual person who leans more towards her own gender.
Yeah, because she did do her thing with Oliver.
Yeah, and in real life, the actor that plays Leonard Snart is actually gay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently either, and it's like, that's kind of funny that the two people that are quote-unquote gay and lesbian are the two characters that everyone keeps shipping together.
Fandoms, they will ship whatever they feel like, even if it should logically not make sense.
The quirky computer tech girl and the guy who murders people with a bow and arrow.
And then they somehow managed to work that in the show.
Yeah. And they had sex without taking off their pants.
I'm sure they did that off camera.
Well, yeah.
Let's face it.
That's like a weird thing in like the episode, though.
Yeah. It's like, pull out, rip their shirts off, fall to the bed, and cut to black.
It's like, okay, I know what happened, but... Okay.
I don't think you need to go that far with it.
Right.
After all, this is the CW. This is not HBO.
Yeah.
If it was HBO, you probably would see some stuff.
Well, of course, if it was HBO, he'd still be killing people as well.
That is also true.
And I don't know if you watched the Funhouse videos.
Not that much.
They just released an episode today where they were doing a GTA 5 mod.
Oh, right, the Flash versus Hulk mod. I saw that in my subscriptions. I haven't clicked on it. Go back and look at it.
You gotta watch it.
Alright, I'll go look at it when we're done.
It's basically one of the guys for Funhouse apparently loves the Flash, so the entire episode they make little jokes and references. So
Not
it's like, oh yeah,
surprising.
gotta go. Let's go get the Reverse Flash outfit on. So so instead of showing them like go and get the suit on and everything, they cut to a picture of Jay, and then they cut back,
That's funny.
and then they go, "Oh man, should I watch Arrow?" And he goes, "No." But he in the thing he runs really fast. He does the tornado, and he pulls a Wells.
Huh.
Like
Interesting.
the Cisco murder is a move you can do.
That is interesting.
Like you can do the vibrate hand kill thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Legends of Tomorrow, and pretty much we have Rip wants revenge for his family and also to stop the biggest monster in all of time.
Think of it as I don't even know another really, really, really bad person besides Hitler.
Pretty much, yeah. Just like
Basically, it's like if there were two Hitlers and they had a baby, and then that baby grew up to be another Hitler who had a child with another Hitler, and then that Hitler baby had a child with another Hitler, and then that
basically he's just really, really bad. He's a
yeah,
psychopath.
and then that baby decided I want to be like every single one of my ancestors.
I will say it was a very interesting change up to his origin, because the only origin for Vandal that I know is the Young Justice one, where it's like, yeah, I was a caveman, and then a meteorite crashed and made me super smart, and also made me immortal. Whereas this one's just like magic meteorites still, but intertwined his fate with the
The Hawk.
Hawks, and so now he hunts them forever, and it's just like, huh, that was a
Yeah,
very interesting twist.
yeah, it was weird,
Yeah,
but I mean, it had to establish the characters somehow.
yeah, that. Yeah, I love Legends of Tomorrow. Just the character interactions between everybody is just so much fun to watch, and then just very humorous little program too in many
hmm
different ways.
I will say, if I was Vandal Savage, I would try to find the Hawks when they are very young, and then raise them to essentially have your own ideology. So then it's like it's time for whatever, so I can become immortal and you guys can be reborn and I'd say something like, "Oh, after this you will be reborn stronger than you ever were."
The problem is that they still retain memories of their first life. So the one where he tried to kill them.
Yeah, but if you get them when they're young enough and then murder them the second they get their wings,
I suppose that could work in theory, but
that's like it's like, oh yeah, or have Barry go back a day every time there's a crime in Central City and solve the crime before it happens.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Central City would be filled with time wraiths at that point. From him fucking around too much doing that.
Well, I mean, that was only because he was going back farther than like a day.
Well, that's true. All of his blitzes were like a day backwards, so he
Yeah, a
wasn't doing it
day
on,
or like an hour.
and he wasn't even doing it on purpose. He was just running
Yeah.
so fast it just kept happening to him.
I think the time during the crossover was on purpose.
Well, I don't know if it was per se, because at the time he didn't really have control over it. He was just running like crazy trying to escape that explosion, and he ended up
True.
blasting backwards in time.
Yeah, I think it was more along the lines of he ran to the past a day once by running really, really fast. Basically, every single best friend I knew just died. Let me try this again.
Yeah, I think that was mostly how he kept going backwards in time anyway, which is trying to running really
Run away from
fast.
something.
Yeah, because like in the first season, it was trying to stop the tidal wave, and he ended up back blasting, and then in the crossover or season two, it was basically just trying to escape that explosion.
Yeah. And then there's what he does where he just goes back a day, and that's considered like time jumping because he takes the place of himself.
And then there's going full on backwards, where
Then there's time
there's two of
travel
them.
where there's two of them.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
know what he's doing.
Well, of course not. Which is why I was really hoping season 2 was going to be him trying to fix the fuck up that is Flashpoint. Which, at this rate, with the way certain characters are good guys and other characters we don't know yet, I'm really hoping maybe season 3 is him trying to fix Flashpoint.
We'll see. I will say
'Cause,
the one nice change up from that episode was the Pied Piper coming around.
yeah, the Pied Piper being a good guy, which is a thing in Flashpoint not really flushed out. It's just, oh, here's a list of different good guys that are on the good guy team. Captain Cold, who's now Citizen Cold, the Pied Piper, Cyborg,
Yeah, I
this
thought.
guy, the Shazam kids.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a neat change up. But yeah, anyway, so Legends, time travel is very, very finicky.
That's the thing, though.
Considering like
We
how
were just
many,
talking about Time Race and how they were going after the Flash.
yeah, why aren't? Well, I guess I don't know. Like, how does that even make work with that one? Because I guess maybe because they're time masters, it's like a different rule set or something. Like the time race know that understand that kind of thing. I don't know.
That's
Time
why I
race are
think we
weird.
should rename the Time Race to Speed Race. Because if you remember,
Oh yeah, Wells.
I'm not technically not crippled, but I'm crippled. Wells mentioned that all the speedsters know about time wraiths.
Yeah, so maybe it is
Me
something.
think that it's only a thing speedsters do.
Meanwhile, you have the time masters in their time ships just bouncing around, doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, which it makes me think that each time wraith that goes after a certain person is doing so because that person somehow accidentally retcons themselves out of existence. Thus, they turn into a time wraith and have to try to stop themselves from doing what they did.
So, in theory, that could be a future of Barry.
Or, more or less, it's another speedster trying to drain a different speedster of their life so they can become a speedster again.
Hmm. Who knows? We'll see if they ever explore that concept.
Right, so the easiest way to find another speedster is to stay in the time speed void and vampire off of another speedster.
Yep.
I've thought about this way too fucking much.
And then, meanwhile, you just have Rip and his ship bouncing around with his little AI, which I love Gideon.
Yes, the AI that Wells had in season 1.
Although I think she had a different voice. I'm not.
Technically, yeah, it was a slightly different voice, but it's presumed that it's the exact same character.
Well,
Even though technically that's not really a character, but yeah.
who knows? But I think yeah, it was a different voice in the
It was.
Flash.
The one in Legends of Tomorrow has a very more British accent to it.
Yeah, I think the one in the Flash is actually voiced by the chick who plays Vanessa in Deadpool. I think I read that somewhere.
I'm not positive about that.
Well, I think I was reading it on like the Deadpool trivia page, and it's like so and so is not the only actor in this movie to have played a character in a comic books before, and it's like she played this in this and also was this, and it's like one of them was Gideon in the Flash, and it's like, huh,
She's also the Emmy in Gotham, and she was in Firefly.
yeah, so. Yeah, so I love Gideon. That one episode where they're dealing with time pirates or whatever the heck they were, and it's like Rip's just feeding her commands through the through the comm lines. Like that's funny.
Yeah, that was great. And next week, I'm even happier.
What's the episode for next week? I forget if
Or it's not next week, but like the next episode, I'm really happy because we get the goddamn Jonah Hex.
Oh yeah,
I love me some Jonah Hex.
Yeah, I did like the other one cameo that they had for this season was Star City 2040 something or another, where you actually see old Oliver.
Yeah, that was nice.
And then they actually got Stephen Amell to do it and supposed to. I think they were planning to do someone else, but that flopped, and so Stephen ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Which worked out for the better. And apparently he lost an arm somewhere.
It's presumed in the Arrow universe that Slade's son cut it off.
Yeah, probably.
Ooh.
And speaking of hands going missing, that scene in the most recent one where Snart blows his own hand off with his ice gun. Holy shit.
So I just found some very, very, very interesting news. Katie Cassidy, who's the actress that plays Laurel Lance,
Yeah.
is indeed reprising her character as the Black Siren, Donna Nance, which appeared in 2 episodes of the Justice League cartoon for the Justice Guild of America, for 2 episodes of The Flash.
Yeah, I think I remember reading something about her popping up there. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene in Legends I think it was a couple weeks ago where Snart blows his own hand off just to escape, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn, dude.
It was not this week's episode, but last week's episode.
Yeah, it was just like, damn.
That was the week that they found out that whatchamacallit
Mick was
Snart. Yeah.
Mick was
Yeah.
Kronos. But yeah, it's just like, damn, dude. Like, I know you do anything, but holy crap. And then they fix it at the end. It's like, what do you mean by regeneration? I took genetic profiles of everybody on the ship in case for this exact situation. It's just like, why is this the only time I'm hearing about this? Because nobody lost a limb yet. And it's just like, okay, fair enough. That made me laugh. And it's like,
Yeah, the best thing was like, okay.
it just kind of does that knowing looks like, okay, fair enough. And it's like, as soon as it starts, I'd be just like, ow.
Yeah, the most the most bland thing in the world. Ow.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the reasons why I just love Snart. This show has made me love him so much. Whereas before, it's like, he was a cool character as a villain because, he had his moral code and everything, but him in this show just, oh my gosh. Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there was a first episode or second episode where they're sitting in the 70s or whatever, and it's like him, Sarah, and Mick are off having a drinks, and it's just like
they get into a bar fight.
Yeah, and it's just like, now you guys can intervene. It's like, finally.
Oh, I love the 70s.
Oh yeah, that line from Mick. Just this whole show just has so much character in it with all of the cast. It's like, this was probably one of the best ideas they ever had.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you are right. Morin, whatever, did voice Gideon in The Flash.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen.
I had to scroll all the way down to like the very bottom, and Tony Todd does the voice of Zoom when he talks. Which is why I thought he was going to be someone else, but anyways, yeah.
But yeah, so...
And Jason Mewes will be in an episode soon as well.
Playing... Or is that the character name or the actor name?
Jay and Silent Bob.
Can't say I've seen that. But no,
have you seen anything that Kevin Smith has done?
I have no idea.
Okay. Jason Mewes is... he plays Jay in Jay and Silent Bob. He's one of the comedy duo for Jay and Silent Bob, and Kevin Smith plays Silent Bob. Kevin Smith is directing an episode of The Flash. I believe it's episode 21 for season 2. And Jason Mewes is making a cameo as himself, or as you can see that it's him. And then they're gonna show a line of different metahumans, and he's gonna be one of those as well, but with a mask on.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
And we're gonna be seeing a young Hunter Zolomon as well.
Interesting.
Right above whatchamacallit on this when I was looking around. When I was scrolling all the way down to the bottom, and Supergirl at the very last name. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, that's a show we're going to have to do on a completely different episode, considering...
I mean, I didn't even watch Supergirl, so...
well, that explains that.
Damn, that's really horrible. It's like, Supergirl, Gala Patron, Officer Anderson, White Canary, Truck Driver, Young Man at the Fair, a Scared Man, a Protester, a Guy Riding His Bike, a Bully, a Highway Patrolman, a Reporter, a Cafe Guy, the voice of Zoom, a Police Officer, the voice of Gideon.
Yeah, just
That's
credits
sad.
all over the joint.
That is sad because it's like
Wait,
these
hold on.
guys are like top list people, and they're the bottom like four names of the list.
Did you say Supergirl's in the list of characters on the Flash?
Yes, she is.
So,
Supposedly, they're gonna have her and a crossover in the season 2, I believe, for one episode.
huh?
Which is
Okay,
why I think they're crossing over Legends of Tomorrow also, because Sarah's in the episode.
that will be
Because I
very,
don't
very
remember
interesting.
Sarah being in Flash,
No, she's never been.
so she's gonna be in Flash too, as White Canary specifically.
Go figure. It's just like Flash gets all the cameos, just people
Well,
running
yeah,
in and out of the
because
joint.
Flash is a better show. I mean, because Flash has been running for 2 seasons. Legends of Tomorrow is supposedly gonna change up the character roster every season.
I could see them doing that. I mean, you kind of have to refresh things here and there, and who knows
Well, that's
what they're
what
gonna
they
do.
that's what they said they're gonna do is like after season 1, Rip's gonna get like a new crew to try again.
That's gonna be interesting. It's like, yeah, I kept wondering how are they going to keep running this show for so long.
It's like either they kill whatchamacallit at the end of the season and they have a different threat that they're gonna try to take over because someone else killed his kids or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Legends past season one. I mean, I
And supposedly for the finale of Legends of Tomorrow, there's going to be a special guest character cameo.
well, we'll see what they do with that because that it's be interesting to see just how many episodes they put for that season. If it's going to be in the 20 range, like what they do with Arrow.
26 supposedly.
Okay, so it's
And
basically a
the
full season
16th
order.
episode is called Legendary.
Hmm. So basically, it's got the full season order like Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely a lot of stuff going on in these shows, and by far, I'd have to say this is definitely the biggest television universe that's currently active in just, I guess, TV space. Because you have Marvel running shot with with their MCU in the cinematic world, but then you have DC running their own on the TV front. It's just like comics are everywhere.
Yeah, do you watch the show Suits?
No.
Okay. One of the guys from the show Suits is going to be in the last 2 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow because I'm a horrible asshole who uses IMDb to see into the future.
And what's he gonna do in it? Who
We
knows?
don't know. It says he's in 2 episodes. He's in the very last episode, and he might be in the episode before it. I
Well,
don't know because I didn't see him in the cast for that yet.
yeah, we'll find out, I guess. But who knows? We'll
I
see.
also love this probably very, 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 very definitely a Doctor Who reference.
Hmm.
River of Time. Just the river part totally has to be a thing.
Yeah.
And then Legends of Tomorrow resumes April 14th, 2016 with the Magnificent Eight, which
So,
features Jonah Hex, my favorite,
so
one of
that's
my
gonna
other
be next
favorites
week,
in the
basically.
DC universe. Yeah.
And then we have to wait for April something for Flash and Arrow to resume again.
I do believe it is
I think
April
Arrow's like the
4th.
27th. I think.
It's Flash returns April 19th.
So that'll be the week after,
Yeah, Arrow resumes April 27th.
which is the week after that, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a very odd.
Well, I mean, it's just weird because each one has come back and had an episode, and then like, oh, we're going to be gone for this many weeks.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the TV.
They got to film their finales.
Do you really think that they do them in that order like that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Uh,
I thought that
the
was just.
actress that plays Caitlin, like 2 or 3 days ago, just posted that they did the script read for the season finale.
That's odd that they do it that way. I would have thought they would
They
have
do
had
it that
every.
way so they can get their fan input, which is most likely why we had all the Olicity scenes near the end of Arrow.
Huh, maybe. I thought that was just some weird thing that.
And because they can't record during the winter,
That makes sense. Because
which
yeah,
is why they do all their obligatory Christmas episodes, and it's a lot of inside shots, not that many outside shots.
Because there ain't snow on the ground.
Exactly. And then during the winter, they don't record or anything, and then they record during during like the spring for their finales.
I always thought that practice was some kind of weird thing Japan did with the Toku stuff, where you're literally having scripts written as the shows are airing, but apparently even America does it.
Yeah, but I think that's more of like a thing the CW does.
I could believe that.
Because I think everywhere else, it's more or less like... I think for the CW, the other reason we're getting all these breaks is because of basketball season or something.
That would make sense. They probably run the games on the channels.
Yeah, during like March or whatever was when we got a lot of our breaks.
March frickin' Madness and all that nonsense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because sports have to ruin everything.
Yeah, because it's not like golf or a marathon.
But yeah, so we have been going for almost 2 hours now, so what else can we possibly tap with this topic?
Really, the only thing I can think of that we didn't really mention with Legends of Tomorrow is how the Atom is getting the hots for
Yeah, Hawk Girl and the Atom are kind of being a thing.
Because they banged on the spaceship.
And in the 60s.
Well, yeah, we don't know if they banged. We just know that they were more or less a couple to the point that he was going to propose to her.
They were stuck there for 2 years living together in the same house. You can pretty much assume that they probably did something. At least in the...
Well, I mean, Oliver lived on an island for 5 years. I don't think he went and whacked himself off.
You never know. Let's be frank here. You're alone on the island. What else are you gonna do?
Well, as we've seen from every other flashback in the damn show, he's never been alone on the damn island.
You have to assume at some point he had to have been, considering the way he looked at the beginning of season 1. He had to have had some time by himself.
Because at the rate it's going now, I'm gonna say it was at least a year and a half for the shit that happened with fires.
Okay, yeah, so season 1 and most of season 2's flashbacks, probably.
Basically everything to the point where he pokes out Slade's eye, I'm going to say is like a year or 2 years.
Yeah, I think they kind of try to imply that a lot of the stuff that goes on comes over the course of about a year or so when it comes to the flashbacks.
Yeah, okay, so the whole thing with that was like 1 year. Then the Tokyo bullshit was 1 year.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, potentially like a year. And now this bullshit back on the island's another year.
Yeah, because isn't he like currently like on a mission for like the U.S. government or something?
He's on a mission for Argus again.
There's something like that.
Which is because the guy that's on the island now is trying to get the idol thing.
Yeah.
Which he gets because he's a dumbass.
But yeah, so... Well, we'll see how far they push the flashbacks, considering the show has been renewed for season 5, so we know that there will be more episodes and more flashbacks, no doubt. So it's a case of how long till they run out, and he's just on his own.
Well, seeing as we now know that Black Siren will be in at least a few episodes of The Flash, we can hope that she stays and changes her name to the Black Canary and works with Oliver and company.
Well, we'll see if they can do something different with her, because I was reading something about this article justifying the whole Black Canary being killed and whatnot, and apparently one of the things that they were saying was like, Laurel's story arc kind of had run its course, whereas everyone else still had unfinished business and things that they had to take care of, whereas she didn't. So... taking her out of the picture.
Oh, yeah, that's because every other week it's, oh my god, something bad's happening to Felicity. Oh no, something bad's happening to Felicity because the show's been revolving around her ever since season 3.
Crap's going on with Felicity,
crap's
like... going on with Diggle, crap's going on with Theus, normal nonsense with Oliver, Laurel's just kind of there.
All this crap's going on with, like, everyone else, and then it's like, oh no, Felicity scraped her knee, let's the entire episode revolve around that now. And it's like, you realize that there's a character who's literally seconds away from a killing spree. Another character who his wife is now the leader of the world's most secret organization in the world, and his brother just came back from the proverbial dead.
Well, they technically fixed Thea's bloodlust problem,
Yeah, but
but she still
that
has
was still
Malcolm to
like a
deal
major
with.
plot point that they basically skipped over because, oh no, Felicity's depressed.
But now we have, she still has Malcolm to deal with.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked Felicity as a character early on, but now that the show is basically revolving around her, I'm very slowly losing my patience.
Well, at least the most recent episode wasn't revolving around her. She was barely in the damn thing.
Except for, the part at the very end where Laurel tells Oliver to go get with Felicity because she knows he loves her.
Well, yeah, sort of, but,
Because, it's like, oh man, I still loved you after all these years. Oh, by the way, go get back with the blonde chick, because I'm apparently dying now. That's how it went. Besides
Yeah,
whatever he
close
told
enough.
them beforehand.
Yeah, pretty close, but well,
I will say, when I saw Lance falling, I was like, oh, is he having a heart attack?
I feel so bad for that guy. He just gets
He's
all the.
experienced his daughters dying more times than he's had daughters.
It's like,
He's
yeah,
still being
Sarah die. Yeah, it's like Sarah
Sarah died,
dies.
came back,
Guys, yeah, it's like,
died.
yeah, she's like, Oliver runs off with her to the ocean, which that was a different actress at the time, but
But no, you know what's the worst part about it, though?
hmm.
Oliver ran out into the ocean with her and his dad. That was weird.
It's like, yeah, let's go have a cruise with Dad, and let's bring the hot chick too, cause sex on a boat. I don't know.
Because the motion of the ocean. But
Yeah, it's like she presumably dies at sea, and then turns out no, she didn't. And she comes
and
back,
so
and then
back, and then she gets killed.
she
And then
legitimately
she
gets
comes
killed,
back, and he has to deal with the fact that he might have to kill her because she's a ravenous monster.
and then she gets fixed, and then runs off to the future, and now Laurel dies.
And because
Or
she ran off to the future, he doesn't know if she's gonna die or not.
well, did she even talk to him before she ran off? I know she talked to Laurel when Laurel gave her the white canary costume, but do you think she actually said bye to her dad, or just like didn't say
I
anything
think
because
she
she expected
told
to come back?
I think she told Laurel to tell her dad or something like that.
Maybe. Which,
But still,
ooh,
it's
that's
like,
gonna be a rough one for her to come back to. It's like she comes back and it's like, yeah, your sister's dead.
which is why I kind of hope she gets replaced with Black Siren, and then Sarah comes back and it's like, Black Siren. That's a interesting name, but it's good to see that you're still doing the gig, sis. Who the hell are you? What do you mean?
That will be
I'm
interesting if
from
they.
Earth 2. Earth what? Earth 2.
Yeah, that's good.
Oliver, what's going on?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how they play with that if they return Sarah to a Arrow regular.
It'd be interesting.
'Cause, yeah, I imagine like
Because Laurel's dead and they don't let whatchamacallit stay once season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow ends, she'll come back and become Black Canary again or something.
maybe like yeah, that's gonna be very interesting to see how all that plays out.
Yeah,
'Cause
especially with
if
all these other superheroes that are going to presumably come back to their cities.
yeah, because you got to think with if what you said before about them switching out the cast for the next season is true, then they're gonna probably dump Mick and
They're
Leonard
just going
back
to go
in.
back to the Flash and be part of the Rogues again and hopefully get the Rogues together.
Yeah, they have somewhere to be. Roy or
The
Ray.
Hawks technically have somewhere to be.
Yeah, depending on what happens, and then Ray probably will end up dealing with
I
either
don't
getting
think
his.
Ray's staying in Star City. I don't think he's gonna officially say he's back, and he's just gonna become like a vigilante off in some other city,
So you think he
which
might
is what
just?
I think the Hawks are gonna do as well.
Yeah, I can imagine they'll probably run off and go be heroes in other cities or something,
And then Firestorm's gonna go back to Detroit. That's where they said or Pittsburgh or wherever the hell they said they were going to get their training.
That's true. Either that, or maybe they'll hang around in Central. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because Stein's wife is still technically in Central City,
Yeah.
and I think
His
Jack.
wife that he almost didn't have for a while and then fixed.
Yeah, but yeah, so overall, this gigantic monster of a universe is very interesting, and watching it grow and all that stuff.
And it's also really cool seeing all the little Easter eggs, like the Green Lantern Easter egg. Easter eggs. There were two.
Remind me what
They're,
those were again, because
they
I'm
were both
blanking.
in Arrow, and they were both during flashbacks. One was a plane that crashed on the island. The pilot was Hal's dad, supposedly.
Yeah, I must have missed that one.
And then when it's not like shown or anything, it's just assumed.
Hmm.
And then when Oliver's in a bar, I think in the Tokyo scenes or whatever, or the Japan scenes, he's at like a bar and a guy in a flight suit like brushes past him and you just see a name tag that says Jordan. And it's like, oh, too bad this wasn't the Flash, because Green Lantern and the Flash are like really good buddies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they actually pull out any other heroes to try and run shows off of them.
I would love to see a Green Lantern show, like a live action one. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if they can get the right actor to play the role and figure out how to make it work, they could easily do that. Obviously, they can't get Ryan because I don't think he's ever going to want to do that role again.
Nope.
I think he's pretty much locked down for Deadpool for good at this point.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I read somewhere he said he doesn't want to play hero characters anymore unless it's Deadpool.
You know what I just
Or
thought of?
comic book characters, I should say. Hmm.
That Moore, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's several DC characters and a Marvel character now.
Yep.
Because the chick she plays in Deadpool is Copycat.
Although she doesn't have her abilities.
Yeah, it's literally just knockoff Mystique. And the guy who plays Zaz in Gotham also plays a villain in season 1 of The Flash.
Hmm.
He played that Cloud dude, the gas guy.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, which I didn't notice until I rewatched season 1 one day, and I was like, that's Zaz. And then I made a post like, you know what bugs me when a person plays two different characters in the same universe?
But yeah, so this whole universe, it's definitely built up as quite a monster of television, and I can only see things pretty much going up from here at this point. I mean,
Well, for some shows.
yeah, Arrow's kind of in a slump that they need to get their butts out of. Flash has been pretty strong overall, and then Legends of Tomorrow, who knows where that's going to go? Because time travel.
Yeah, the only way Arrow can get better is if they stop panhandling and pandering to the Tumblr fangirls that want Olicity to be a thing because they like the ditzy IT girl who had a troubled past.
Yeah, well, here's hoping they can do something and fix that. Who knows? We'll see as the show goes on if they can get themselves out of their rut. But yeah, so yeah, we've been going for about 2 hours now, so
Yeah.
this is going to be a bitch to edit.
And at leeast we don't have any real, like, places where it's just dead silence, really.
No, that is very true. But yes, so if you have actually listened for all 2 hours of us rambling about comics, thank you for listening. We would love to get feedback on how you guys think this episode is, and if you want us to do more Comic Corner stuff, because yeah, the Toku side of our little radio network may be down for quite a bit, so we need
Yes.
something to do.
Yeah, we when the wall fell, it fucked up the morphing grid or whatever we use.
Yeah, my belt's barely working. It just kind of fizzles in and out occasionally, but
Yeah, and doesn't it, like, pop out cans of Coke for some reason?
I wouldn't really call that a downside. I like soda, so.
I mean, it's better than being like that one mechanized Uno game where it just shoots all the cards out.
Yeah, I never understood the idea behind that. But anyway, so yeah, feedback in the comments would be absolutely wonderful. And then also, if you want to tweet at either of us to give us feedback, please do so. Yes, thank you for listening. And if we're going to do another one of these, I think we're going to try and tackle one of the movies of some variety. We'll see what we've seen between the two of us and figure out something. So yeah, yes.
Yeah, and if anything, if we do something and it's on, like, Netflix or something, we'll mention that that it's on Netflix and you can watch it when we do the episode.
Yeah, yes. So, thank you all for listening slash watching if you're on YouTube, and we will see you next time for who the hell knows what.